video blog. This country is not great from the top down. It's great from the bottom up. This country is not a shining city on a hill. I have no idea how you can build a shining city on a hill with the genocide of the Native Americans, the enslavement of African Americans, and the abuse and misuse of Asian Americans to build this country, and to exploit and denigrate every group of people that was not WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And at some point they become honorary whites, but they really aren't whites. WASP know that and think I still believe, and this is all from the perspective and the theoretical perspective of a social worker. I have a master's in social work. I've been on this planet for a while, and I read literature in undergrad and graduate school. We discussed things in undergrad and graduate school, and I have a mind to think. I've been following politics for a long time, and you can listen at a video by Martin Luther King, which talks about how land was granted to white people, especially in the Midwest, in Oklahoma. That's why they call themselves Sooners. The sooner they got there, they could lay claim to some land that was taken from Indians and stuff like that. So any kind of land in this country was taken. And so it was robbed from Native Americans, and they were driven west to what they call a Trail of Tears, covered in smallpox blankets, and basically subjected to genocide. Now they're on reservations. The Bureau of Indian Affairs are mismanaging Indian resources. Still in 2016, they're taking Indian land and Indian resources and selling them to corporations. So, everybody says Republicans are telling it like it is. Hillary is exactly not telling it like it is. Bernie Sanders probably is, but he's not telling the whole truth. I don't hold it against Bernie Sanders that he's Jewish, but if he thinks Jewish people deserve reparations, why don't black people deserve reparations? Every group that's experienced any kind of injustice, whether it's Japanese internment, have received reparations for the wrongs transgressed against them. The United Nations has called for the United States and Europe, including the Vatican, to give African Americans reparations. And don't even get into it's generations apart. We can forget that. It doesn't matter how many generations have passed. You know, since slavery, emancipation, the rise of the Klan, Jim Crow, laws that were specifically made to exploit and keep black people down, and now ongoing systematic racism and exclusion. The rise of the prison industrial complex. Eisenhower, a Republican, warned us about the military industrial complex. They can find money for wars, but they can't feed the poor. The evisceration of the safety net, the social safety net. Call it welfare, call it what you want to. They're trying to call it entitlement. The government stole $1 trillion from a paid-into system, Social Security. It was supposed to be a locked box. That's not entitlement. We paid into it. My belief is that congressmen and elected officials should pay that money back over the years, including anybody who, when they started stealing it, it should come out of their salaries and their back pensions or their future pensions. It should not come from the taxpayer, even though their pay comes from us. They should have deductions from their payroll and their retirement to pay that money back. Social Security should not be privatized. If it had been like George Bush wanted, it would have been eaten up by the 2008 collapse of the economy. Too big to fail. And banks are still too big to fail. They have not unwrapped those derivative swap plans that they have, that they said they were going to unwrap. All of it was based around redlining and reverse redlining. The Dodd-Frank bill is not a good bill still. They're still exploiting middle class and low income people. They are getting money for nothing, and the chicks are just about free. But I know the chicks are getting paid, by those Wall Street tycoons. They aren't getting that punani for free. They are paying to live that luxurious life and stuff like that. So the money managers are exploiting the people that believe the stock market is not rigged. White people, they can get ripped off 1,000,000 times, and they'll still find somebody who's going to manage their money and give them these unrealistic profits. It's on TV all the time on that program. What is it? American Greed. It's always about white people getting ripped off by somewhere. Barney Madoff made off with a lot of white and Jewish money. And they continue to do that. So there's nothing wrong with believing in the system when you know that the system is corrupt. How can you compartmentalize that and say, it's a shining city and we have very moral people, and that's some hell of a altruism right there. When you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, and you get the same results you've been getting, that's the definition of insanity. We are living in a wonderful time. Some people are calling it the age of Aquarius. It's coming to a head. At this point, I don't give a shit who we have as president. It could be Donald Trump. The Supreme Court could be all Republican. Both houses could be Republicans. I just want to see them fuck this country up the rest of the way. And then maybe at that point, white people will wake the hell up. They said, Donald Trump said, to hell with being politically correct, speaking politically correct. And the country seems to be eating that up. Let people say what they want to say. And I read studies where people that use curse words are more intelligent than the average person in a damn way. Sometimes you have to curse to make a point. If you get so spazzed out and road rage and you're a psychopath, that's a whole nother story. But when you're trying to make a point and you're doing that with emphasis, with some colorful language, that is a good thing. Colorful is always a good thing. You cannot survive as a partially healthy body with cancerous organs and parts of your body. If you can have Katrina, and you can have Flint, Michigan, if you could have the Tuskegee syphilis study, and you could have all this other stuff that's going on, where all these mysterious viruses are popping up, and they can't find cures for them, you have to start wondering sometimes. People talking about chemtrails, people talking about FEMA camps and stuff like that. And the people, Young Turks and this other program, right-wing program, where right-wingers are concerned about the government, I don't think them people are totally out of the lunch. They know about tyranny. They understand tyranny. They know the history of tyranny. And so they distrust governments. Anybody in their right mind would have sense enough to know that there are no benevolent governments and stuff. We would do well to come up with term limits for those people. Let them find other jobs. Nobody should have a guaranteed job forever, not even in college. They should get rid of tenure. The Supreme Court should not serve forever. No sitting judge should serve forever, have a guaranteed job. You know, and at some point, if the world survives, and it may not, Fukushima has probably polluted our oceans. Everything we're eating is radioactive. Most of the developed world have banned Monsanto, but the United States signed a bill to let Monsanto do what it does. Our president, the president that black people love to death, signed the Monsanto bill. The former governor of Virginia has said that he ignored blacks. I knew that, but every time you're black and you say that, you get in trouble with blacks. Black women love Obama because he's black and he has a black wife. He's half black. He's half white too. But he has a black wife and they had date night and all that stuff. He sang a little bit of Al Green, you know, and his wife goes on that guy's show the most, not Jimmy Kimmel, the other one. I can't call his name, the one that get drunk all the time and keeps cutting up his hands. He's very talented. He can sing. He can do almost anything. And she goes on there. She dances with him. And the president goes on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And he dances with her. Michelle dances with her and everything. So the Obamas envy the Clintons. They want to be just as rich. They want to do as many speaking engagements and make as much money as they can. Believe that, me. But Donald Trump keeps talking about what he's gonna do, and people are eating it up. He's a walking, talking sideshow. America seems to like sideshows. He's a reality show presidential candidate and stuff like that. So he's been filed bankruptcy 4 times. I filed twice in what do they call that? In fairness and full disclosure. And I'm so vain, I think that when I filed twice, that's when they changed the bankruptcy rules and laws and stuff like that. I'll get to some video blogs and hopefully a book that'll explain that. I've had an encounter with the FBI shortly after COINTELPRO was ending, and they had they were still looking for people that they thought had charisma and could unify people and get people together, mainly black people, and black people influenced some white people also. But I've always worked within the system. If you look at my high school records, one of my teachers said that, and I'm not going to say what my name was then, he respects authority. Another teacher said I was aggressive and I wanted my way, and I was playful. I was voted most witty, the class clown, and I did act out. And if I wasn't prepared with my homework, I would take over the class or something like that and act all silly and make everybody laugh, including the teacher. But I do respect legitimate, fair authority. I always have. And I've always looked for the goodness in people, not the worst. And I'm going to age myself here. When TV came out, I thought that was one of the greatest instruments that man could ever have, that would change the whole culture, a whole environment of race relations, and it never did happen. Jewish people controlled Hollywood. They wrote the majority of the stage and screenplays and stuff that changed ideas about people. Egyptian ruler Nasser said that the Jewish people left Israel black and they came back white. Jewish people were down with black people at some point during the civil rights movement. And then they abandoned us and they did become white, more or less. The United States borrows money from a dictatorial country to make war and to give grants to other countries so they can have access to those areas of the world. So we're borrowing money for war from communist China. But we want to bury Cuba. We don't want to have anything to do with Cuba. Young Cubans don't believe that. We'll let Mexicans and every other group into this country if you just get on land. But if you're Haitians, you're in trouble. If they catch you on water, if they catch you on land, you're in trouble. You go back, you drown, you stay in prison forever. And we've had a black president for 8 years. And we have had one of the weakest justice departments that I can ever think of, ever, during the last 8 years of the Obama administration. And those killings of people that our president helped militarize the police more than Bush ever would dream of. Obama militarized the police more than Bush ever would have dreamed of. He used drones to kill more people than Bush ever would have dreamed of. Those police killing blacks, in my opinion, my theoretical opinion as a master's degree social worker, is those were proxy killings of Obama and Holder. They couldn't get to them, so the police spat in their faces. Said, we're gonna shoot these black people, unarmed black people down, and we dare you to try to do anything about it. And they didn't do anything about it.